Welcome to Mudimo Awaz, a podcast presented by Musico. I'm your host Mohua. On this podcast, we will talk to dreamers, unsung heroes who have broken the rules as they swam against the current and renewed their vows to themselves as individuals. The believers who've been crazy to start ventures that have made a difference to society and the lives they've touched with their magnanimity and knowledge. As for me, I was in the communications business in a leadership role and also been a homemaker. The slow death of my self-confidence that went unnoticed over the years, when self-worth was based on the validation I sought from others. Quoting the author Elif Shafak, do not go with the flow, be the flow. Welcome to the next episode in Mudimo Awaz. In this episode, we have another amazing rebel queen telling us about her journey. Roshni is an activist, a photographer, a cancer survivor, and has done extensive work in body positivity campaigns. Funnily, the catalyst in her life was when she was diagnosed with cancer at the age of 14. And what emerged is a winner, an activist artist that started from the depths of the dreaded C word that came and almost shook her entire life. Welcome, Roshni, in this episode.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Roshni. So, Roshni, tell us about this whole journey. I have been following you on your social media posts, and I've been seeing the kind of amazing work that you do, the kind of body positivity work that you've been doing, which is really the need of the hour for so many women all across.
Yeah.
And I'd really like to know how and when did this awakening begin in you?
So like you said, my cancer I see as a blessing because it really did change my whole perspective on how I saw life and how I was leading it before to how I want to lead it right after. So that was the catalyst for me to kind of realize that I can live my life on my own terms and I don't have to please people around me, neither do I have to please society. As long as I'm happy with my decisions, that should be, I should be able to embrace all parts of me. So while I was trying to do that, my body positive journey started somewhere in 2015, where after years of struggling with body image issues myself, being overweight, too bullied, to being made to feel worthless, I finally decided that I was in a place to do this nude self portrait of myself where I can highlight all my flaws because I was finally okay with all of them. I was comfortable in my body and I wanted to really get to the place of fully loving my body. So I did that shoot and somehow it kind of resonated with everyone and I got a lot of positive responses and a lot of people said they felt really good seeing a real body and just being not being photoshopped and covered up, etc. So it just motivated me to do more content on the same, and that led to me now doing so much body positive content because I realized people really need it, because then there's not much representation of inclusivity and body positivity even now. So I kind of feel like it's my responsibility in a way that since I know so much about it and I've also been through it, I need to make people more aware and like teach them this whole concept.
So, Roshni, how old were you when you began your first campaign, for body positivity?
I was 22.
How many years back did you start this, Roshni?
So like I said, my first shoot was done when I was 22, but I think I started the journey to body positivity right after I like literally came out of the hospital, which was about 15, 16. But of course, it only heightened at this time when I was 22, 23. That's when I really started my journey properly and really made efforts.
Didn't you feel different from all the other girls because of the kind of filters that's there, and
Yeah.
everybody's talking about the next best filter that comes out in Instagram, the Photoshop that's just done at the tip of a finger now on your mobile phone.
Yeah.
What was it that you faced when you were going out there and doing these shoots at the age of 22? And you started, as you said, on Facebook, am I right? Which
Yeah.
technically is really alarming for a young girl who looks as beautiful as you do, to go out there and have pictures of your body. How did your family, your friends, were you trolled? Did you get ever did you feel defeated with all of this?
So I've actually always felt different. That was a problem, that when I was younger, I was always different. I didn't like doing I just like doing things my way, and it was not something that I was encouraged to do. I was always put down, and at that time I gave in and I let people put me down. But now I was like, no, this is what I like doing, and this is who I am, and I'm going to embrace it. I've already been through like the worst. There's nothing worse that can happen now, and I need to live, my life on my own terms. It also includes me getting to know myself and love my body. So I literally decided to do the shoot, and then I just, the pictures were beautiful, and my friends helped me even like do the shoot. And then, of course, I was like, if I really want to get to a place where I'm comfortable with my body, I need to be open to it being up somewhere, and, people judging or like seeing it, and it shouldn't bother me what they think as much as, what I think of it. So I did put it up on Facebook then, because I don't think Instagram was as popular as it is now, and even I didn't really use it for my work or anything. I put it up on Facebook, and I did like tell my mom that I'm doing this, and she was also a little concerned then, like, this is going to be your pictures, and what if people misuse it, this, that. And I was like, Mom, come on. I mean, they can misuse my pictures anyway, even if it's just my face. So I really need to do this for me. Like, the shoot was mainly for me to, like, it was liberation for me. So I put it out there, and I didn't actually receive any negative comments. I don't think I received anything that was negative, which is what really shocked me, because I don't know if at that time people were even putting up content like this, but this is something I really had to do. It was shot very like in an artsy way and stuff, but it's still, I was still naked in it. So I was a bit afraid of what people would think then. But like I said, my whole agenda was to stop that and, break that cycle of me not caring about what people think. So this kind of really helped me personally. It helped me get on with my work as well. And it did help a lot of people, because I did get a lot of positive feedback. So I don't think I got any trolls or any negativity, actually. Even my mom after
You
that
are
was
very,
fine.
very fortunate. You're very fortunate, Rashni, because we do live in there's so much of hypocrisy when it comes to, nudity, when it comes
Yeah,
to sexuality, when it comes to desire, when it comes to LGBT, when it comes to all these issues that, we as in a culture like ours in India, where we like to believe that we are
yeah,
very much part of this mainstream, voice that's really going on. But, back home
yeah,
there are many girls who shy away to even talk about their their sexual
absolutely.
liking, or what is it that they like about their bodies. They are ashamed to even talk about their menstrual cycle. They are ashamed to talk about their boyfriends, their girlfriends, and any and everything. So tell me a little about when is it that you understood that you were part of the LGBT movement, and
Yeah,
like you said that you would like to identify yourself in the queer space.
yeah.
When did that happen?
So actually, I came out only in May, like officially this May, as bisexual. But I've always done work towards LGBTQ community, because I've been surrounded by a lot of queer people since about 2015-16. That's actually when all of this, my activism even started. And I found it essential, when you do something like activism and you're standing up for, you say you're a feminist and you say you're a body positive activist, you really need to do all of it and not just your agenda. And which includes everyone, right? Because feminism is equal rights, which means all minorities in our society, which is women, and all the oppressed communities like the LGBTQ community are also included. So I started doing work with a lot of queer people that I knew, and then approaching artists that I were from the queer spaces. It also, at the same time, I was struggling with my own identity, because I always felt like I was part of the queer community. But living in our society, there's a lot of internalized homophobia and biphobia and a lot of things like that, which really prevent people from being confident, and you're constantly doubting yourself if this is even real. So I think me being surrounded by these people really helped me realize, not only can I embrace my true self, that I really need to own up to this, that I've been confused for so long. So finally
How
this
did
year.
your parents react to this?
So my parents have always been cool, but they've also been. I've kind of had open communication with them since I was 22, 23, because unlike other people that I saw, they were constantly hiding from their parents and doing things like, going out and drinking and having fun, which I think is part of everyone's life. And I don't need to hide that from, my parents. I'm sure they did the same. So I just wanted to, be open. And I told them that. And I was like, I just don't want to hide things. I don't want to lie to you. So that kind of helped them grow with me in a sense. And, they became okay with what I was doing. Like, even my mom, like I said, was a bit skeptical about me putting that up on Facebook. But when she saw why I did it and how it helped others, she was really okay with it. And today she's the first person to comment on every post that I put up. So it really helped them grow with me. So when I came out in May, their reaction was so normal that it actually scared me, because I was like, are y'all pretending to be chill or are y'all actually chill? I'm not understanding. But they were completely fine with it. They were like, why would it matter to us, like, which gender the person is, as long as you're happy? And I was like, oh, okay, this was way easier than I thought.
Yeah, which makes it so sad. You wish there was some more drama, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Roshni, you know what? I think, when we live in larger cities, it's way more easier, I think, for, our parents, our friends and, our aunts and our uncles, because there is an exposure, to the whole, there are people talking so much today about, body positivity, about LGBT, about, embracing your own identity.
Yeah.
But what is your, what do you think of the far flung people living in towns and little villages where for the rest of their lives, I feel so sorry that they are never ever allowed, to even express their own choice in the matter of sexuality. And
Yeah.
do you see that gap being bridged?
Yeah. I totally agree. But you know what the saddest part is, actually, it's not even our society, our immediate society, where all of us living our privileged lives have a lot of people who are really like not okay with this, even now. Like, even right now in 2020, I'm sure a lot of people right in my building are not okay with the LGBTQ community, are not okay with their own family members embracing themselves, which includes maybe embracing their true self, like if you like getting your hair colored or getting tattoos, or I don't know, even just doing whatever, wearing clothes that you like. It's honestly the sad truth that people in our own immediate society are not yet okay with that. And as a whole society, we don't really encourage people to embrace themselves and be their true selves, whether it's sexuality or choice in anything, from marriage to what clothes you want to wear, what anything. So I don't think we can even like expect people of like other like rural areas and stuff to even have that kind of choice when we ourselves are not giving it. We're
So
really.
you saying that it is, it's all across. It's like a blanket, no, for anybody who wishes to choose their own sexuality. In a major scene, it would eventually just be just a few handful who would support your cause, right?
Yeah, I'm saying there's still a lot of unlearning to do in our own immediate society. And I think even though we'd like to think we're really cool, but when it comes to you or someone immediate that you have to accept, like for someone in your family comes out to be part of the queer family, are you really going to be okay, or are you just okay with supporting the movement when it's far away from you? Then everything seems easy. Like, it's okay supporting people when they wear clothes that are not your immediate family, or when they're getting married to people that are, they prefer, when it's not your immediate family. But when it comes down to you or your friends actually doing it, that's when it all turns up. Because I've seen people, when it comes to their own situations, it's very hard to accept. And there's, unfortunately, a lot of the queer community have a lot of trouble getting accepted by their own family and friends even today.
But even in the queer community, Roshni, the sad part is this: there's a lot, whenever there are any conferences and stuff, you have a lot of gay men who are there. Lesbian women are very rarely represented.
Yeah.
There's like a very small forum. And even there is so much of bias, which really saddens me, because I was part of one, forum where, it was an LGBT. We were celebrating the Pride Month in Bangalore. And, I was one of the moderators there. And there were only gay men. There were no lesbian women representation. So I am absolutely, I'm in horror to even think that, there would be so many issues that, they would face, and they would not have someone who would take this forward for them.
Yeah.
So, would you throw some light if this is true? Because you've moved to Bombay now. How is it in a city as large as Bombay? Is it the same or is it different?
So I don't know about the difference in representation, but I know that the queer community here is being really represented well. For example, Lalit now has drag shows, and I have a lot of friends, even in Bangalore. The drag shows even happen in Bangalore. They happen in the major cities where Lalit is present, and Keshav Suri has a foundation for the
Yeah,
queer
I think it's
community.
hats off to him. I mean,
Yeah,
on this show itself, I really want to congratulate Keshav Suri for the work that he's doing,
yeah,
because it's such an amazingly safe space for them to,
yeah.
go out there and, be who they are, which they're not allowed to do otherwise.
Yeah, it's really amazing because I've been to those parties, and they're absolutely, that's the safest party I've ever been to, because I didn't have to worry about how I dress or how I look, or am I going to, is this too short? Is this too revealing? It was one of the best nights because it was very, very safe. We had a lot of fun, and there was a lot of, I mean, everyone was queer there almost, and it's a proper drag show, and that itself is great representation. So it's quite funny because it's a huge paradox. There are people like Keshav and a lot of other people from the queer community doing so much, but it's our society as a whole that really needs to start accepting these things, because unless we do that, getting representation for the queer community will not like go further if other people from not the community are not going to accept it. It really that's where it comes complicated, because of course the queer community is going to accept the queer community. What about the rest of them?
What about, Roshni, your art photography? Just tell me a little more about it. How did you get into this, and, what does art photography mean to you?
So I do a lot of fashion and fine art photography, I guess you can say. I started with fashion because I discovered photography right after I came back from the hospital, and I was discovering myself in different ways. So that's when I kind of got into photography full time. But it was something I really liked doing from a young age, actually, not just then. And I discovered that I like doing a lot of shoots with people and styling and fashion. So I started doing that and like self teaching myself and just learning whatever I could, because I was still in school and I had to finish all of that. But yeah, I started freelancing also at a very young age, around 18, 19. But I kind of wanted to learn something properly because I had just taught myself through the internet this whole time. So I went to do a course, and that's when in 2015 was when that course got over, and I did my first body positive shoot and a bunch of different other shoots where I really discovered my style. So just like my personality, my photography style is very different, and I like embracing it because that's just who I am. I don't want to stick to the norm of how photography is meant to be done, because art is, different for everyone, and there's no right and wrong
It
in
is
art.
very subjective. Yes, there is
Yes.
nothing that's right and wrong in art. Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's very sad that there's usually a, a saying that this is the right way to shoot and this is the wrong way, and I really didn't like that, so I just chose to embrace myself, and that's the kind of style I'm known for now, because I just, go and do whatever feels right to me. I use a lot of colors, I use mixed media, I don't like just shooting, I don't Photoshop or do body edits or skin edits, because of course I'm a body positive activist. I can't be a hypocrite and do that to my shoots. So I don't edit my shoots in the sense the models don't get edited in any way. I just add colors and I do a lot of sketching and just use a lot of mixed media to create
So
a
there is
final piece.
hypocrisy even in the digital era, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you're standing up for a cause, you really need to stand up for it fully. You can't just do it in one direction. Yeah, of course. There's hypocrisy everywhere.
Yeah, because a man putting up a photograph of of his torso, and with the denims like hanging right out there, like it's absolutely all right.
Yeah.
And a woman, if she puts up a picture of herself in in a bikini, I mean, she really runs into this whole fear of being trolled, of a picture being misused at so many levels. So I think women really fear, so it requires so much of courage to really go out there and do the kind of work that you're doing, Roshni. And I must, I mean, I congratulate you. And of course,
Thank you.
tell me a little about life for you after, yeah, after cancer. And when you talk about being bullied, obviously you're talking about being bullied in school, so they were
Yeah.
also your peers.
Yeah.
So were you bullied from men, or from the boys in your class, or were they girls? I mean,
No,
what
it
was the
was
ratio? Because invariably I feel that girls are always also, they peg themselves on the acceptance of their other girlfriends and not always the man. Is that true?
I think there was when it came to bullying, I think it was everyone. I don't necessarily think it was boys only or anything. Because I think when you're younger, you're just it's just what your biases are, like what you've been taught like this whole time, and usually it is that different is not okay. You need to be a certain way, and if you're not, then that's wrong. And that's where kids in general pick on it, and then they start saying things. So for me, it was just everyone. It wasn't there wasn't a ratio as such. It was just everyone. There's a lot of people with me who got teased and bullied. So it was everyone just doing it. I think it happens to everyone even now, and that's why I also find it important to talk about such things, because it really needs to stop at some point. You can't just keep having the same cycles going over and over again and normalize it, because now bullying is normal, in the sense you're like, oh yeah, of course you were bullied when you're in school, or now bullying has become normal on social media. So it's getting more and more normalized rather than get like actually dealing with it.
So Roshi, tell us about your closest relationship, and of course, your parents. I know that they have accepted you, but when you realized that you're different from another girl in class or another boy in class, when you were in school,
Yeah.
who did you come out and speak to in the beginning, and how was the response? And do they still remain your friends who've supported you in this journey, or have you evolved to become a person that you can't relate to any longer, to all the old people?
So from my school, actually, my school best friend is still my best friend. We both actually got bullied together, so we kind of relate.
Oh,
And
the
yeah,
two bullied ones together.
yeah, there were a lot of other people, but yeah, we did relate, and we kind of got each other that way. We also were, even though we're very different, we our principles and ideas are really on the same line, so that's why we got along fully. Like, she's opposite of me in the sense she's not so out, like, eccentric and colorful, etc., but we basically have the same principles and ideals, and our opinions are more or less the same. So yeah, we've just grown with each other, I think, and there's nothing we would not accept about each other. So I don't have to fear about like her thinking, like what will she think about this and stuff. So it's really been easy for me. Mainly because we have also gone through that whole thing together where we were not accepted for who we are. So I don't think we'll ever not accept each other.
So yeah, so the whole catch is about being different, and how much you require so much of gumption, so much of belief in your own self to be different,
Yeah.
and from the rest of them. So Roshi, tell me, where can I find your art photography? And if some of my listeners want to get in touch with you, if you could tell me where is it, your social media handle, if you could just tell all of that, that would really help the listeners reach out to you if they want to.
Yes. So I'm mostly active on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Rosh93. I'm my email and stuff is also mentioned there. I'm not too active on any other social media platforms as it's too exhausting. So one is more than enough for now. So most of it is there. And I might be starting YouTube and stuff soon. So then we can, I'll tell you about that.
Okay. So thank you so much, Roshni. And we can find Roshni on Instagram, Rosh93, for all the wonderful work that she does. And congratulations, Roshni. I look forward to more and more wonderful work coming out from you and more activism, where eventually there will be one unifying voice for all of us in whichever field we choose to be in or whatever we choose to wear as our sexuality
Yes.
on ourselves.
Yes.
Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much for having me.
Thank you.